this liability will arise if the buyer is purchasing any goods. You see, what used in both these sections which we are going to discuss today is any goods. It doesn't say in the course of business. For purchase of any goods, the amount payable and that sum is payable is to a resident. So this 194Q liability arises on the person who is a buyer whose gross receipts, sales or turnover in the immediately preceding financial year is exceeding 10 crores and is liable to deduct tax at source under 194Q if the amount is payable by him to the seller who is a resident. What does it mean? It means if the seller is not a resident as per Income Tax Act, then this liability will not arise. Indirectly, we can say it will not arise in the case of imports, because normally imports are done from foreign entities or foreign supplier who is not a resident normally. So in that event, this liability will not arise on that transaction. As I told you, this section deals with the term purchase of any goods. Any goods means whether it is used for a capital purpose or for revenue purpose. What is capital and revenue? For example, a 1 crore of machinery is purchased and that amount is from some company located somewhere in Gujarat. Then whether he is liable for TDS under 194Q? Yes, because it doesn't say that it is applicable only for normal routine trading transactions. It says purchases of any goods. So that also we have to keep in mind. Another condition is that if the amount is payable by the buyer to the seller in aggregate exceeds 50 lakhs in the previous year, then only that amount which is exceeding this 50 lakhs, this TDS is required. I will tell you with one illustration. Intentionally I have not included illustrations here because this PPT is shared by me. So I want only those persons to be benefited who have joined today. That's why I have not intentionally included these examples here. Please try to understand and you can ask me any questions later. To clarify more on this, throw more light on this, suppose a buyer is purchasing a goods from some person XYZ of say 30 lakhs. In that event, he is not liable. Suppose if already opening balance is there of 50 lakhs, then he is liable for TDS under this section on this, because aggregate value of sums payable against purchases exceeds 50 lakhs in the previous, because that opening balance of 50 lakhs is also payable in the previous year, though it is brought forward from earlier year, but it stands as payable in the previous year. Whether it is paid or not is a different issue, but it is payable. So suppose if the opening balance is 50 lakhs and another 30 lakhs worth of goods further purchased from that person seller, then buyer is liable for TDS under 194Q on this 30 lakh of purchase for the current year. Suppose there is an opening balance of 50 lakhs and before this section becoming effective 1st July, he has bought some goods of say 30 lakhs. Whether he is liable to deduct TDS under section 194Q? Yes, provided it doesn't pay before 1st July. After 1st July, anything payable exceeding 50 lakhs, and that TDS is required. I think it will be clear to all of you. Now, what is the time
1 second, sir.
when this TDS is to be deducted? The TDS is to be deducted whenever the account of the seller is credited, or if not account of the seller, to any other account by whatever name called, whether it is suspense or something, or if the amount is paid, whichever is earlier. For example, there is no opening balance, let us presume, in the account of the seller maintained in the books of the buyer. Buyer has purchased 30 lakh of goods, worth of goods before 1st July, he is not liable for TDS on that. And subsequently, after 1st July, he purchased another 30 lakh of goods after 1st July and credited the account of the party and making payment of all previous balance of 30 lakhs. At the time of second purchase in this year, then an amount of 10 lakhs only is liable to deduct. Opening earlier purchase 30 lakhs, no TDS at that time. Subsequent purchase after 1st July 30 lakhs, it is exceeding 50 lakhs. So whatever amount exceeding 50 lakhs, on that as soon as he credits, so one should not get confused because he is paying 30 lakhs. That's why he is liable to deduct on entire 30 lakhs. No, only on that amount which is exceeding 50 lakhs at 0.1%, at 0.1% only. This rate may be higher, provided PAN or Aadhaar is not furnished by the seller to the buyer. Normally it will be there. Now in the GST regime, PAN will be automatically known to all. Now what are the exceptions to applicability of this section? First, it is not applicable to imports, because if it is from non-resident, it is not applicable. And it is not applicable to any transaction which is otherwise covered by other TDS provisions. TDS provisions are contained in chapter 17B, 17 part B, and part BB is relating to TCS. So we'll say chapter 17. If any transaction is covered by any other TDS provisions, then section 194Q will not apply. This section 194Q will also be not applicable in transactions covered by TCS provisions under section 206C. Then the question comes, what about 206C 1H, which is the tax collection at source on amount received from the buyer? Why it is excluded from the exception? There may be situations, we'll discuss that later. There may be situations, in that event, a buyer may be required to deduct tax if 206C 1H is not complied with by the seller. So 206C contains other sections also, like 1F, 1G. As you know, 1F is relating to 10 lakhs and above motor vehicle purchased. At that time also 1% TDS is there. 1G is relating to remittances in foreign currency under liberal remittance scheme. At that time also TCS is there. So for all those, this 194Q will not be applicable. It will be applicable, of course, to 206C 1H also. When we'll discuss later. As in brief, I told you, if the person who is liable to collect tax under 2061H fails to do that, then 194Q will be applicable. Automatically, it means 194Q comes first, 2061H comes later. So first buyer, when purchases the goods, prime responsibility is on him to see that he deducts tax. Rather than waiting for 2061H, it is of no help to him. So first duty is on buyer to deduct tax under 194Q. Now other important aspects will discuss in brief. If PAN Aadhaar is not furnished, then TDS will be at higher rate of 5%. CBDT can issue guidelines for removing difficulties, and these guidelines are to be ultimately placed before both houses of the parliament. It doesn't say that it should be approved. It talks of only placing before parliament. There is a lot of difference. So whatever guidelines issued by CBDT will be effective for all purposes. Now, what are the compliances for 194Q? Though it is not part of my subject today, but for benefit of all of us, including me, I have included this slide also. We have to comply 194Q by deducting tax at source on the amount exceeding 50 lakhs, and we have to remit it within 7 days from the end of the month in which tax is deducted at source under 194Q. So we are having only limited time for making payment of the TDS. We can't withhold that. For March, more time is given for paying this TDS, which has been deducted up to 30th April. So more time is there for purchases made up to for the month of March. Another compliance is required is relating to quarterly statements. As we know, in the TDS we have to file quarterly statements in Form 26Q, etc. So here in 194Q also we have to file this quarterly statement. It should be filed within 1 month from the end of the quarter. For example, for quarter ending June, the due date of filing of this quarterly statement will be July. Similarly, for September, it will be October. And for December, it will be January. But for March, it is the May. So 1 month grace period is given for filing quarterly statement for quarter ending March. These are prescribed in the different rules. These rules are not new, only these sections have been included. What are the consequences for failure? There are several consequences. If tax is not deducted, simple interest at 1% per month is leviable, as it is leviable in case of other TDS provisions. But if tax is deducted but not paid, then interest is leviable at higher rate of 1.5%. If there is a default in furnishing quarterly statement from 26Q as we told, there is a late fee of rupees 200 per day during the period of default. Further added to that, there will be disallowance. I will say there would be disallowance under 40A1A up to 30% of the sum involved. So the consequences are very costly. It is always better to comply timely. Now coming to next section 206C1H. This section is relating to tax collection at source by seller. In 194Q, it was the buyer responsibility to deduct tax on the goods purchased. In 206C1H, it is the duty of the seller to collect tax at source. But when There is a difference. In 194Q, buyer is supposed to deduct tax as soon as goods are purchased and account is credited. Whereas in this case of 2061H, the responsibility lies in the event of receipt. As we discussed, who is buyer, similarly seller. Any disturbance is coming?
CTC and PAN number and betis.
Any cross talk is going on, please mute your
WhatsApp alage.
Mute cheyalandu.
So seller and buyer defined clearly. Buyer means purchaser of goods with the 10 crore gross receipts sales turnover in the immediately preceding year. Here responsibility under 2061H is on seller to collect tax at source. Is also defined to be this person whose total sales gross receipts turnover from business exceeds 10 crore in the immediately preceding year. And here the buyer is also defined, whereas in 194Q seller was defined differently. Here buyer is defined differently. Here buyer is given general definition with some exclusions. Buyer means any person other than central government, state government, high commission, embassy, consulate, local authority, etc., etc. So there are 2-3 more have been excluded from the definition of buyer. So here we have to see if we are receiving anything from government or high commission, then this section is not applicable, because we have to deduct collect tax at source when the payment is made by the buyer. So if buyer is government or high commission, then this provision is not applicable. Now, time when liability will arise. Under 206C, 1H, it arises if some received, that is consideration. In this section, it is very clearly told. Consideration received in aggregate exceeds ₹50 lakhs in the previous year. Now here the question will come, what about advance? In my view, advance is also a part of consideration. So if it fulfills all other conditions, then automatically tax is to be collected on that also. So consideration, some received includes advance also, but it should be consideration. It means it is not on the any other sum which is not a part of the purchase and sale. It should be only consideration for sale of goods. It is very important vis-a-vis 194Q. Please note this section, this point. There will not be any liability to collect tax at source under 206C1H if buyer is liable to deduct tax at source under any other provision of the Act, or is liable to collect tax under 206C1, 206C1F and 206C1G. 206C1 is relating to forest produce, liquor, alcohol, etc. 206C1F is relating to motor vehicles exceeding 10 lakhs value. 206C1G is relating to liberal remittance system scheme, LRS, of foreign remittances. So these are not covered. Here, only important thing as a general practicing fraternity we have to understand, if a buyer is required to deduct tax under 194Q and he is deducting, whether again a seller is liable to collect tax under 206C1H. In my view, no, because as per this section itself, if the transaction is already covered by any TDS provision under the Act, though the TDS provision has come into effect from 1st July, So anything liable after 1st July under 2061H will not be any liability if buyer is deducting tax at source under 194Q. And it is clearly mentioned in this section that it is not liable for export of goods. There is no requirement to collect tax at source on export of goods. Now, what is the time when this TCS is to be collected? It is very crucial. It is to be collected at the time of receipt of consideration, an amount exceeding 50 lakhs in aggregate in the previous year. So, what is the major difference between 194Q and 2061H? In 194Q, the liability arises for deduction as soon as account is credited. In 2061H, the liability arises only at the time of receipt, not at the time account is debited, buyer's account is debited. That too, if that receipt is exceeding 50 lakhs. And now at what rate? At same 0.1%, and that amount which is exceeding 50 lakhs. If PAN Aadhaar is not furnished by the buyer, then higher rate of TCS 5% is to be collected. Normally PAN will be there because without PAN credit will not be available. So what are the compliances under 206C1H? We will see. Here also tax is to be collected and remitted within 7 days from the end of the month in which it was liable to be collected. Also, quarterly statement in Form 27 EQ is to be furnished within 15 days of the end from the end of the each quarter. But for quarter ending March, the time given is 15th May. So more time is given for quarter ending March for furnishing quarterly statement in Form 27 EQ. But remit tax payable which is collected is to be paid within 7 days from the end of the month. It is not at all for the last quarter. There is no grace period like in other TDS provisions. In 194Q also we have for last quarter also. But here even for last month also, March also, it should be paid within 7 days. Now, if we see what are the consequences for failure. Simple interest at 1% per month is leviable on amount of TCS, which is not collected or collected but not paid. So here also you will find that there is a major difference between 194Q and 206C1H. In 194Q, if tax is not deducted, simple interest at 1%. If deducted and not paid, simple interest at 1.5%. Whereas in case of tax collection under 206C1H, whether it is not collected or collected but not paid, simple interest at 1% is payable. Also, for non-complying in furnishing quarterly statement, 234 is there, which requires you to pay late fee of 200 per day for the default till the time it is furnished. Now, these are the 194Q, 206C1H in nutshell. I have not gone in detail. I am giving more time for our interaction. Besides this, I have added recently launched 2 sections. TDS for non-filers. These are the special provisions contained in section 206C, 206AB and 206CCA. And these are effective from 1st July 2021. Many of you might have heard so far that there is functionality compliance check has been enabled in the new portal to check who are the non-filers. Because these sections 206CAB, 206AB and 206CCA both talks of deduction at higher rate or collection at higher rate in case of non-filers of returns. Who are non-filers? They are being defined as specified persons, and that definition is also given in the both sections. Who have not furnished their returns for the two immediate preceding years, whose due date for filing of the return is over. For I will give that short example for that also. In their case, TDS or TCS at higher rate of twice or 5%, whichever is higher, is required to be deducted or collected with effect from 1st July. So it means from 1st July, assessee has to keep track of all the persons whose case is supposed to deduct more tax or collect more tax. Another condition is attached that a specified person who is a non-filer has in those 2 years has got TDS or TCS of 50,000 or more. This specified person definition is very interesting. We'll see that. Specified person means a person who has not filed returns for last 2 assessment years. Here you please note, for which due date under 139(1) has expired only for those 2 years. This clarification has come through Circular 11 also, and question and answer FAQs are also released by the CBDT, which are relevant to the previous year in which TDS TCS is required. We'll take here one small example. For this current year 21-22, after 1st July, a person is supposed to deduct or collect tax at source in case of a person. How can he know whether he is a non-filer or filer are covered by this 206AB or 206CCA? For that, the CBDT in its portal, income tax portal, has attached one functionality compliance check, wherein these details are coming of the specified person. So I think it is a being new feature in the portal. Still, portal itself is not functioning properly. But I think if one relies on that and knows that data, that is enough for him. In between, simultaneously, some people have asked the concerned persons in whose case it is to be deducted or collected to give one letter in writing that they are filed their returns perfectly up to the date. Another example here I would like to give. For 21-22, a person is required to deduct tax after 1st July in case of a person who has not filed returns for 2 years, including 21-22. Whether in that event, higher rate of tax is required to be deducted? No, because current year of assessment year 21-22, still due date is there under 139(1), which is now extended up to September from July also. So till September, if he has not filed return for assessment year 2021, it will be default for 1 year only. The default will be treated as of 2 years if only if he has not filed the return for assessment year 19-20 and 2021, not 21-22. Because for 21-22, still due date for filing the return under 139(1) is available to him. So that is to be excluded for determining default of 2 years in case of deducting. And another condition is there for a specified person. For each 2 previous years, the aggregate of TDS TCS is 50,000 or more. Suppose if a person has not filed returns for 2 previous years as said in the first point here, but his aggregate TDS and TCS is not of 50,000 or more in these 2 years, then that person has escaped from these rigors of 206 AB and 206 CCA, because he is not a specified person. Only in case of a specified person, that higher rate of TDS or TCS is required. So to be a specified person qualifying for higher rate of TDS, TCS, both conditions are to be fulfilled. First, he should be a defaulter for filing returns for 2 years. Second, in each of these 2 years, the TDS, TCS is of 50,000 or more. If one condition is satisfied, then he is not a specified person, excluded from the rigors of this 206 AB and 206 CCA. So this is the totally new thing which I thought would be better to cover. As you know, CBDT has also issued a circular 11 dated 21st June relating to 206 AB and 206 CCA. And also FAQs are also released for compliance. Functionality compliance check is also provided on the portal. I don't know how far it is working. Let us wait till the portal itself stabilizes. We can't say. So this is the shortest possible presentation I have ever made. I thought I will have more time for discussion so that I could know what would be the practical difficulties may arise. So with this brief, I conclude with request you to please come forward with your questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, those who wants to raise question, please unmute yourself and raise your question, sir.
Radaji, this is Amrinder this side, sir.
Sir, Amrinder, sir, please.
Radaji,
Yes.
sir, you said that in as per 206C1H, the advance is also fall under turnover. But advance is always advance. It can be withdrawn, it will be cancelled at any time, no, sir?
Sir, that is a different issue. That is part of consideration. See, suppose if it is advance is not relating to any property purchase agreement only, but also it is any transaction. So in any transaction, there will be a consideration. You see, we know Contract Act. The contract is a valid contract if basic 4 conditions are satisfied. Offer, acceptance, consideration, performance. All we read. So consideration is an important part of the contract. So in consideration, suppose some advance is given, that is also part of consideration. So in my view, that is also qualifying for TCS.
Okay.
Okay. Now, next question, please.
If any sales settles are there subsequently, sir, that is to be adjusted in next.
In which section you are saying 194Q or 206C1H? In 194Q.
194Q.
194Q, if sales return are there, you have to simply do nothing except pass one journal entry. Because, see, 190, that's why I told you, 194Q is applicable only for the amounts credited in the account, not the amount debited in the account. So whenever credit has been done, immediately TDS has been done. So if simultaneously return is there, then why you record full amount in the books? You record only the net amount after returns. Suppose that return is after say some 15 days, 1 month, then you have to no option but to deduct full TDS on the whatever amount originally credited in the account of the seller or any other account. On the return goods, there is no refund, nothing like that. Ultimately, the TDS or TCS is going to the credit of the assessee. There is not a loss.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
मैं सुब्रमण्यम बात कर रहा हूँ। अभी अपने को वो TCS का और प्रीवियस ईयर का 18-19 फाइनेंशियल ईयर 19-20 50,000 का लेस देन और मोर देन के लिए थोड़ा सा
some disturbance, please speak loudly.
अभी कुछ भी नहीं है। बिलो 10 crores का टर्न मोर देन 10 crores का अभी मेरा 10 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है। मेरा आगे वाले का अभी मैं 10 crores बोले तो एप्लीकेबल हो गया था अपने को बिलो 10 crores का 50 लाख ट्रांसैक्शन क्रॉस होने के बाद अपने को बिलो 10 crores वाले को अपने को TCS कलेक्ट करने का है 0.01% or 5%, right?
If your turnover is below 10 crores, neither 194Q is applicable nor 206C1H.
वही उसमें
194Q is applicable for the person who is a buyer, whereas 206C1H is applicable for a person who is a seller.
हाँ सर। और एक वो TDS का कुछ बोले ना सब, वो इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल का और वो TDS का।
That is there. These two sections are new. Intentionally, I included this in today's presentation, though as per Sikdam said, it was not part of our topic today. I found it very important.
Okay.
That's why I included. See, 206AB and 206CCA, these two sections are new sections effective from 1st July 2021. These have been introduced by Finance Act 2021. They require you to deduct or collect higher rate TDS or TCS in case of non-filers, specified person. For our understanding, we can say non-filers.
Also.
Who are those specified persons who have not filed their returns for 2 previous years?
Okay.
And in each of such previous year,
Okay.
the TDS or TCS has exceeded in aggregate 50,000 for each such year.
That is
Only
increased
in
or
that event,
decreased?
higher rate is applicable.
Increased 50,000 TDS, increased or decreased, sir? TDS or TCS?
Now, already returns to their credit in 26 years, it will be there.
Okay. TDS income tax
The
return तो
TDS
file
and
नहीं किया
TTS.
था. Okay.
File nahi kiya, if it not exceeding 50,000, no issue, higher rate.
Okay. It is 0.01%.
Haan.
It is exceed more than 50,000
Not at all
TDS.
required.
Okay. Right.
Huh, sir?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Or sir, any other question, any doubt, sir?
Yes, sir,
I
Mr.
will also
Gopal
impeach
Potani,
myself.
yes, sir, Mr. Gopal Potani wants to talk to you, sir, please.
Yeah.
Mr. Gopal,
Hello, sir. Audible, it is audible, sir.
yeah, you are audible.
Yes.
Sir, Buttada ji, namaste.
Yes, namaste.
Sir, with regard to this interest and penalty for late payment, 200 rupees per day and interest 1 rupee per 1% per month. Suppose if I paid within 1 month, with late fees, penalty interest can be waived off, because if it is more than 1 month only, penalty should be attracted. That is my idea.
First, sorry, Mr. Modani. See, please understand, this interest, even if 1 day late is there, it is for entire month. It can't be calculated in
But
number
apart
of
from that,
days.
late fees also is there.
Late fee per day, it is not
Yeah.
penalty, it is a late fee.
Yeah.
It is automatically, while see, the thing is that automatically it will be calculated. As soon as you file your quarterly statement, that will come
Yes, sir.
automatically.
The penalty is also nature of interest also nature of penalty. That is why my idea, because so many other opinions are there in other cases.
Penalty,
Okay, kindly.
see, one thing I will tell you, whatever interest you are paying on late payment of income tax or wealth tax or whatever it is, or GST also, it is fully deductible from your income. Whereas this
Yes, sir.
late fee penalty is not at all deductible because it is violation of law.
Correct. Thank you.
Interest is not violation of law.
Yes, it is a nature of compounding fees.
Similarly,
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, Mr. Karan Narasimha wants to talk to you, sir, please.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి మన నరసింహరావు సార్.
हेलो
నౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓకే.
सर बुटाड़ा साहब,
Yes, sir.
मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि whether the purchase of
Please repeat. Your voice is breaking.
capital asset falls
Please.
under the term of goods, please.
Please repeat your question. Your voice is breaking.
Whether the purchase of any capital asset.
Huh.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Is it audible, sir?
No,
Yes,
no,
it
it
is
is
audible.
audible.
Please continue.
whether the purchase of any capital asset falls under the term goods as mentioned
Yes.
in section 194Q, sir.
Yes, that is what I told.
Ah,
It says any goods.
okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Sir, Buttada sir, some of our members are asking
Yes.
for PPT, sir.
PPT I have shared with you, na, sir. You can share with
Yes,
your
yes,
members.
yes,
Don't
it is
have
with
any
us, sir.
objection.
With your permission, we can share it in our group, sir.
Sir, yes, you can share freely, not only
Okay,
with
okay.
your
Thank you,
members,
thank you.
with your clients also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any question is there, sir?
Sir, एक question है sir chat box में.
Yes, please read it. I have not seen chat
Yeah,
box.
I'm reading it, sir. I'm reading it, sir.
Please.
Is the dealer has to deduct the TDS at the rate of 0.1% amount exceeding rupees 50 lakhs in a in a year or single transaction?
Sir, it is for the whole year. In entire previous year, if it is exceeding 50 lakhs, it required to be deducted or collected. It is not transaction per se. It is for the entire year.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
If any other question is there, you are most welcome, sir.
Sir, I myself have one question, sir.
Ayo. Okay, please proceed, Chetikaru.
I'm more confused about the previous 2 years return filing under section 139(1) and 50,000.
Yes. See, in
And one thing, sir, 139(1) is as per the due date. And
Yes.
if it's a belated return also, it will not be counted.
Sir, 139 subsection 1 is given, means belated is under subsection 4, it will not be counted.
Cannot be counted.
Yes.
Proper return has to be filed within due date.
That section itself is very clearly saying due date under 139(1).
Okay.
It doesn't say 139.
Yeah.
139 has been there, come even all the returns.
Okay.
How to keep all the records of customers, sir, in this case?
Yes, sir.
The bigger firm, how to keep all the track of customer, whether he is
That's why I told you, na, in this new portal of income tax, as is providing for functionality, compliance check. You have to check that only by feeding your TAN, etc. That is there. Let this new portal stabilize. Moreover, it is effective from 1st July.
Bigger
So
firm,
we-
every customer there, he has to check the compliance check.
Yes. See, you can take the information for all your customers at a time also.
Yeah.
Not doing individually, I think so. From the new portal, simply feed your TAN. They will give the specified persons list. From that, you can put your customers PAN, TAN, whatever it may be. They will show you whether he is falling under TC, that specified person category or not. So it is a new thing, new feature added in the new portal. It will take time to settle down. So I hope till things settle down, there will not be so much particular about compliances. And moreover, after June, your next quarterly statement or payment of TDS, TCS arises from 1st July, means it will come after July only, na, from 1st August. So still time is there, so let us wait.
Sir, one more question, sir.
Yes.
If the supplier has collected TCS from the buyer who has turnover exceeded 10 crore, again the buyer is liable to deduct TDS at 0.1%.
That is what I was saying. See, when we were discussing when liability will arise, I have clearly told 194Q gives exception only to those who are required to TDS under any other provision of the Act and 206C except 206C 1H. So if a seller, how can a seller deduct in advance? First he will sell. then the first liability or responsibility of deducting tax comes on the buyer. He has to do it. If buyer does that, then seller need not again collect under 2061H. But buyer can't wait for seller to collect under 2061H. First he has to act, because the transaction first will be of sale. The receipt of, suppose both are coming simultaneously. Both are coming simultaneously, same day. Goods are sold and also amount received on same day. In that event, 194Q will prevail on 261H. Once 194Q provision is applied, if once 194Q is applied, liable to deduct, whether deducted or not is a different issue. Immediately 2061H exception will come. That seller need not again collect it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Buttada sir, for
Sir,
your.
Sir, one second. Sir, I'm Leela Krishna. Just want to.
Yeah, Leela.
Sir, thank you very much. Sir, just for further better understanding, that means to apply 206 AB from 1st July 2021 onwards, that specified person calculation purpose, since till 30 September 2021, the due date was there for 2020 financial year. So 2 years we have to consider financial year 18-19 and 19-20.
Yes.
Again, from 1st October, if you want to see if the date is not extended, then you have to check the 1920-2021. So
automatically that system will show specified persons.
So I think so, sir. In this regard, if there is any some kind of checking, if it's there from the beginning of the financial year, it will be very good. But in the middle of the year, again we have to check.
Leela, what we think, what we presume, what we suggest is not important. What is there?
What they want to do is important.
Great.
Already, see, let us this come first. When the problems will come, automatically they will come with solution. They have
Because
to.
at least, sir, at least if they have given the time till the bill return, that is the end of the assessment year, at least the full complete years will be there. Then it will be easy for administration.
That is why I am saying you please simply rely on the functionality compliance check provided in the portal. Take a copy of that, keep with you. We have relied on that, accordingly we have followed. Your responsibility is over. And humanly it is not possible for you to keep track of all these things. That's why somewhere you have to rely. So rely on the information provided on the portal through this functionality compliance check. Simply rely on that. If it shows, go for higher. If doesn't show, normal. That's all.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, you mean to say that the portal will give the information about the specified person?
Yes. Yes.
Once we key in the PAN number, it will show whether it's specified
Yes,
person
yeah.
or non-specified person.
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Let us close here. Now I request our Vice President Siddham Shetty Srinivas Garu for vote of thanks.
Yes, thank you, Secretary Garu. Thank you. I thank, first of all, Ramdev Buttada sir for accepting unconditionally my request for taking the session even though in the pandemic situation and office time which doesn't permit us to go into the sessions and all. Even then also sir has taken my request and considered and accepted without any conditions. Just simply accepted and given the time. Thanks a lot for your time, sir. And also I thank all other members and committee members and other association members who have participated in this program and made it success. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Yes, I am going to close the meeting.